like growing up, like your time at Xaverian, stuff like that, and then kind of get into your college career, and then getting to what you're doing now. So we'll start off with, like what your early life was like growing up and stuff.
Early life was good, no complaints. Two parents that loved me. One of four. I was the oldest. It was me, my little sister, and then I had two little brothers. All athletes. My dad played ball, football, baseball. He played at Lafayette and made it, to the bigs for a little bit. He played season and a half with the Broncos before blowing his knee out. So, I was raised playing sports. My dad coaching Little League and, all that growing up, taking, trips to AU tournaments all the time. It was just me and him. So no complaints growing up. I had happy childhood. It's great.
For sure. When did you start playing football?
I didn't start playing football until the end of middle school. My dad played ball pretty violently. He was, similar position as me. He's a tight end or a fullback. So he used his head as a weapon. He had multiple surgeries and, cracking helmets, all this and that. So he tried his best to keep me away from. I loved the game. He taught me about the game growing up. Since I was a kid, we watched college ball together, all that. But he tried his best to keep me away from it. So I didn't actually end up playing Pop Warner at all. I didn't start playing football until, I don't think till 8th grade. So my freshman year at Xaverian was only my second year playing football.
Wow. And what was kind of some of your motivating factors to you wanted to go to Xaverian?
My dad could tell you better, but he told me I had some fascination with it since I don't remember it all too much, but I guess me and him would go check out some of the games. When I was in elementary school, we'd go to some of the Saturday games at Xaverian, and I had some sort of fascination with it. I think, big crowd, success, and, just that tradition of success. I'm sure that was a big factor, but I had in my head since I was 3, 4, 5 years old that I was gonna go be a ball player. That was it, so.
Right.
In Massachusetts, high school football, compared to the rest of the country, some places like Texas, Florida, New Jersey, California, limited options compared to some of these other states. Xaverian was the spot, So that was a big factor. And then I think I did one of Coach Stevenson's middle school football camps, and I was a match. I was already, going into 8th grade, 6'3", almost 200 pounds. So, Coach Stevenson's probably licking his chops a bit and had some sort of influence. But, it's a great decision. I loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That was kind of like my why I wanted to go to Xaverian, because my dad was coaching there when I was younger,
Right.
and I was always around the school, and that's kind of grew up like what you said, like the fascination of Xaverian, like the tradition,
Right.
the crowds and everything. And that kind of led to me wanting to go there and everything. So
yeah.
So who would you say was your favorite player growing up?
My favorite player growing up, I thought I was a quarterback. I love Drew Bledsoe, just being from here. I was a big Drew Bledsoe fan. When the Pats weren't winning Super Bowls yet, he was definitely one of them. And then Mike Vick was just something to watch in his prime. He was just one of a kind. But it's funny growing up, and this is probably part of my dad's doing, but I had a bigger interest in baseball. You know, when I was that young, but you know, guys like Nomar and Ramirez and all that stuff. So I was kind of in between both sports. I hadn't really hit the football thing yet, and I was playing baseball. You know, AU tournaments all summer and fall and all that. But yeah, I thought I was going to be a quarterback. Didn't happen.
That's funny.
Yeah, my quarterbacks don't play defense, man. You're 6'5". You're playing D. Yeah.
Coach Renaro probably probably switch you right away, huh?
Sorry, I lost you for a second. Say that again.
I said Coach Renaro probably switched you right away, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I actually, freshman year at Xaverian, I played JV quarterback / defensive end. So that was something.
That's a weird combo to have.
Yeah. Hey, it sort of worked at JV, you know, and then, yeah, we had the talk. Me, Coach Stevenson, Coach Ferraro. Yeah. Hey, CJ, you're moving to tight end, buddy. Tight end DN. No more quarterback DN. It's not happening. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
What about your recruiting process? What was that like?
So I was I wasn't a big, you know, 5-star recruit where, you know, I had college coaches pouring in the door. You know, since my sophomore year at Xaverian, the, you know, rivals and some of the online recruiting type softwares and, you know, the combine type camps, those are just starting to kind of get big. So me being the oldest child and obviously my father's never had any experience with that stuff, so I kind of missed that, and because I knew I had potential to go play big time ball somewhere, you know, and I didn't get my first scholarship offer until pretty late my junior year, I don't think. You know, I got, I think Northeastern was the first one, then a handful of others followed it. You know, then I started getting some attention from UMass, and then Marshall was my first D1A offer, and BC Duke, and a few others. But yeah, it wasn't as exciting as you know, some of the other guys had it. You know, I did a couple of the official visits. It was, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was exciting, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I was, you know, a little frustrated. How do I get myself noticed? But yeah, so I had a, you know, I had a handful of schools to choose from, and at the same time, I was trying to pick between football, baseball. I was trying to see what schools would let me do both. I went somewhere going into senior year. I went to Duke for one of the football camps, and then a few weeks later, I went to Duke for one of the baseball camps. So I'm kind of sweet talking both coaching staffs, trying to see if I can ride the football scholarship, but play baseball in the spring, football in the fall, and kind of miss fall ball and spring ball, which didn't happen. You know, that would have been pretty cool, but yeah, I couldn't swing that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, pretty much all those schools that you just mentioned are all very highly prestigious for academics. So how big of a role did academics play in your recruiting process? I'm sure you wouldn't have gotten those offers without your academic background.
Yeah, that's another one too. So Coach Stevenson, I have him at Xaverian. My grades were awful. I was borderline not being asked back for a sophomore year.
Oh, wow.
I was in the weight room. Yeah, I was in the weight room one time. Again, in my mind, I'm a ball player. That's it. What school? I don't know, man. I'm here to play ball. So I'm in the weight room, and it's just me and Coach Stevenson, and I'm hitting power cleans or something. I think I'm hot shit, and I'm power cleaning like 185 or 200 something, right? 14-year-old CJ, and Coach Stevenson, hey, come here, Coach, what's up? You know there's requirements to get into college, right? And my jaw must have hit the floor. What are you talking about? Like there's requirements to get into school, and this year ain't gonna cut it. You're gonna have to pick up the slack. So I went home like, Dad, what, you know about this? He's like, yeah, man. What do you mean? You don't? Like, so sophomore, junior year, I worked hard to fix that. The little hole I dug myself freshman year. But yeah, academics in university, that, I mean, of course that played a big role in where I wanted to go. And luckily for me, pretty much all the schools that we're looking at, I mean, great academic schools, right? If I was getting some of these big power conference or Power 5 conference teams that are more known for ball than school, I'm not sure the decision I would have made, but I was fortunate enough where all of the offers I did have came from phenomenal universities, and you know, I had a couple of people in my ear looking, well, think of it this way: if football is taken from you, if you get hurt, if this or that, pick the school that you would want to be at, regardless whether you're playing ball or not. You know, and that played a factor for sure. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I picked Northeastern. My father's a physical therapist. I grew up working in some of his PT clinics, and I just had a fascination with the human body, how to fix it, how to make. You know, my dad and I would train in my basement home gym setup since, you know, I was 11, 12 years old. I always had this sort of fascination with how to get stronger, better, faster, you know, all that. So Northeastern is a great PT program, and that played a big factor picking there.
Right. That's awesome.
It's also the only school that was going to let me play football and baseball, so that played a factor too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So were you at Northeastern for 1 or 2 years before the football program?
Just a year. So my true freshman year, I had knee surgery. I took a red shirt, rehab through the season, and following the last week of the season, the AD comes in, sat the team down. Hey boys, we're terminating the football program, and then he walked out. So I mean, caught everybody off guard. No one expected it. I mean, it was tough for a lot of people. There were a couple of kids in my class that were preferred walk-on type guys, you know, that worked their tail off and were promised scholarships. And, you know, some of those guys broke down because they had family tossing dough up to help them get through a year paying, expecting their final 3-4 years to be paid for. And, you know, those guys are shit out of luck. So, yeah, I mean, it was tough. It's a difficult thing. So kind of got to redo the recruit process again. I got to either choose, okay, stay on football scholarship and just play baseball and stay at Northeastern, or do I want to go play football? And in my gut, in my heart, I want to play football. And it's partway through the season. Not even partway through the season. I think our opening game, we opened up at BC against BC, and Dave Shinsky and the Eagles lit us up. I mean, it was a slaughter. You could tell that we had no right being on the field with them. It was, you know, and it embarrassed me coming from a school like Xaverian. I wasn't used to losing, you know. So I'm not saying that one game made the decision for me. But I want to go play football. I want to go play at a big school. So I went through the recruit process again, and fortunate enough, I hopped across town and went to BC.
Yep. That's awesome. So when you would you say that was kind of one of your initial shocks when you got to college, is when you were at Northeastern, then BC kind of beat you guys pretty good? Was that kind of an initial shock where like, damn, like this is college football, like these are some studs out here?
So this is more of a compliment to Coach Stevenson, Coach Trenaro, than it is an attack or an insult to any other coach or staff that I've ever experienced, right? But when I got to camp at Northeastern, I was kind of shocked at how lesser of a jump I thought it was, and that's just because the Xaverians ran like a big time D1 college program. There's talk to Cam Lodge. I think he had 3 or 4 football coaches and 20 guys on the team. And all and that blew my mind. At Xaverian, we had 5 football teams, and 150 guys wanted to play football, and 15, 20 coaches and assistants and off the field guys, and it's a real time program. So I expected an even bigger jump. And not that I was let down. I was like, wow, okay, I came from unbelievable high school with an unbelievable staff. That's crazy. But then the jump to BC, there was it's a ACC D1 real time, and not that I was shocked. I was ready, but I was like, okay, I'm here. Yeah, this is competition. So it was exciting, it's nerve-wracking, it's all that. But I love to compete. And like one of my weaknesses is I played down to lesser competition. And one of my strengths is I meet the occasion. I play up to that top competition, and it was definitely a challenge, but it was a blast. Yeah, it's a great memory.
For sure.
So what would you say is the reason that you chose BC over all the other schools you possibly could have transferred to?
So the second time around, I was really down to BC or Duke. Being from here, that played a factor. My family's important to me. My mother's in Newton, so it's a rock's throw away. And she's had health issues, so I want to stay close. My kid brothers at Xaverian are going into Xaverian. I want to be close for them. Family's important to me, so that was a big thing. My mother went to BC when I was a newborn. The first pair of clothes put on me, they put little baby BC socks on my feet. I get the same thing. It's kind of like how it was for Xaverian. I grew up watching ball. I'd go to Alumni Stadium with my dad, and we'd watch BC football, and it's a dream of mine. Like there's no other big programs anywhere in the Northeast, really. So I grew up, okay, this is where I'm going to go play ball. Growing up as a kid, I'm going to go play at Xaverian, and I'm going to go to play BC. That was my dream. So when it was put in front of me, the other schools going down south, stuff like that, that was, it was enticing. It was, it was exciting. I went and did a few of those camps, a few of the other schools in North Carolina, UNC, Wake Forest, stuff like that, a bunch of the ACC schools, but just something pulled me to BC, chose to go there.
What was during your time at BC? What would you say your favorite moment or memory is while you were there?
Favorite memory at BC? I tell people this all the time. I tell my high school athletes and even some of my college athletes, like, what I miss most about football is the locker room. Like that camaraderie, being with your guys. You're together 24 hours a day. You live together, you eat together, you play ball together, you have meets together, you're in the locker room together. That's it. You go out together, everything. And so, like, and even talking to the pro guys, it's not like that as much as in the NFL. That's something special about big-time college football. Like, that bond you have with your 80, 85, those are your brothers, and you got each other's back, and you have, yeah, of course there's issues, and how can't there be with that many people with that much, type A alpha personalities in, one spot for that much time. But, that brotherhood it's something special. Even, guys in the league, they have families, they got kids, it's a job. Of course there's groups of guys that love each other and they're all teammates and they still got that bond, but it's different in college football. It's something really special. So that's not one specific memory, but that's what I hold on to. That's my favorite thing about college football, and that's what I miss most about BC. Thinking about one specific memory. See, every time I scored a touchdown, we lost. So nothing like, for whatever reason, man, I was bad luck. Anytime I got in the end zone, we lose. So, there's that. You know what? My first bowl game, which, unfortunately we lost. We played Colin Kaepernick when he was at Nevada with that nation-leading offense. We had one of the nation defenses, and we played at in San Fran at AT&T Park. That was pretty cool. Our locker room was in the home team's locker room. Barry Bonds had his 14 lockers all lined up. So just that whole experience. Flying out for the week and doing stuff. Same thing, going out with you guys and getting ready for the game, but just all being together and prepping for that game, and just the whole atmosphere and experience of it was unbelievable. I'm an 18 or 19-year-old kid, and like that really wowed me. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so next we're gonna go more into like the business side of things that you're doing currently and training athletes. So the first question is, what made you open your facility, and can you tell us a little about your gym and how it works?
Sure. So what made me go solo is, so unfortunately with the fitness industry in the science world, fitness and health and fitness isn't taken all that seriously. They kind of looked at it as like the joke in the science world, and it's unfortunate because we can do a lot of things that nobody else can do for athletes. And I have plenty of personal training clients that they're some of my favorite people to train. It's just mentally, physically, emotionally. There's a lot of things you can do for people, but unfortunately, there's pretty low standards to become, a trainer or a strength coach, whatever you want to call yourself. And it's there's a lot of misinformation. That's something that I harp on a lot. My athletes tell you the Instagram and social media. There's a ton of great things about it. Me and you got connected kind of through Instagram, right?
Right.
That's great, but there's so much information. And how is some 14, 15-year-old kid that just wants to get better but doesn't have the means to do it, or doesn't have anybody to lead him. So what's he going to do? He's going to hop on Instagram. He's going to type in football specific training. He's going to see guys bouncing up and down on a Bosu ball with one leg with an eye patch on, following a laser with the other eye, catching 14 different objects, while someone's throwing something else at him, right? And that's kind of what it's turned into in some ways is, a lot of these people trying to compete with each other to get, the coolest looking video and this and that. And it's, and sometimes the people doing it, they don't know any better. And there's not like a better system in educating strength coaches and trainers, and there's plenty of education out there. There's great textbooks, there's great certifications, there's great mentors out there, but at the same time there's an abundance of information, and it's really tough for a kid with no background, no knowledge in strength conditioning, physiology, to kind of decipher what's good, what's not, right? And everybody wants to do what the pros are doing, and sometimes the pros, they're unbelievable ball players, and they can do things on the field that nobody else can, but that doesn't give them the knowledge base for strength conditioning and physiology and biomechanics. So if someone sees a pro guy doing it, they want to do it, right? So I've had experiences with unbelievable strength coaches, Al Finau being at the top of that list. That man he's a giant influence on my whole philosophy on training and just sparking my interest in it, right?
Right.
But I mean, there's a million other guys I can name. But at the same time, I had plenty of experiences with, I think we went through 4 or 5 strength coaches at my time at BC. There was a couple of intern guys, and we had a head coach change, so staff was going in and out. But I had occasions where some private and some team strength coaches, there were things that would happen where it either negatively affected my performance or it led to not injury, but there's things where in my head at that time things could have been better. So that kind of just ignited the flame. I wanted to go out and help athletes just be their best, and starting into that, I definitely had an ego going into it. I can do this better than anybody else can. I know everything. I didn't have a fucking clue, right? But I figured it out. I use myself as a guinea pig a lot of times, but I still do that when I'm adding a new kind of tweak on some method or principle I'm doing. I play with it on myself, but I guess it is a little egotistical to think, but I want to run my system, and it's my service. If it's going to be in my name, I want it to be my product, right? On my athletes, and I feel that coaching, including strength coaches, it's an art and a science, right? If it was just science, it'd be a breeze. You print out the template, boom, guys, you go do this, and you're going to be, you're going to shave 0.3 of a second, throw 100 pounds up on your squat in the next 4 weeks, because boom, there it is. There's a blueprint, but it's not how it works. You got to have feel, and a big part of it is mental, emotional too with you guys. You got to understand how guys respond to certain cues and certain methods of coaching, and how to get people fired up, and how to get them to buy into a program, and how to get them to, those more introverted guys, how to get them to peel those layers back a little bit. And that's a huge part of it. So, but I'm in an awesome spot right now. Hex Health and Fitness in Needham on Highland Ave. Myself, Mike Campanella, and a great crew of, a great team of trainers and coaches and PTs and all of that, and great chemistry, great facility, and everybody there knows what they're doing. I for the most part, I work with athletes mostly, and our PT does as well. Mike does a little bit as well. But we got it's beautiful, brand new, opened up just over a year ago. Top of the line equipment. We got strip turf inside for the sled work and plyo and agility work, all that. It's a great space. So I'm loving where I'm at now, and we're doing a great job putting out a good service for our clients and our athletes.
Yeah, for sure. Love the work that you guys do.
Yeah.
So what part of training do you feel like football players that you've noticed kind of underappreciate?
Football players, but any athlete, right? Especially high school, college guys, the general stuff, the basics, like the foundation of the pyramid. If you look at training as like a pyramid, the bigger that foundation, the bigger the foundation, the taller the pyramid's going to be. But it takes time, and you gotta master those basics first. If you can't develop those basic movement patterns, squat, hinge, press, pull, right, carry, those are huge. Those are so important. If you can't get a basic level of general fitness, right, just that aerobic base. Even football guys need aerobic base, because it's an alactic sport, right? It's go, 5-6 seconds, boom, all out, 30-40 seconds off, and that's on repeat, right? So it's football's entirely alactic, quick, and a little time and long recovery time, right? But the bigger your aerobic capacity is, the quicker you're going to recover in between steps, in between series, in between games, practice, all that, training sessions. So and it helps you tolerate higher intensities of training, higher volumes of training, which is huge. But everybody wants to do the cool stuff, the advanced stuff, the oscillatories, and the fancy equipment and this and that and everything they see, and that stuff's great. And I use a ton of these techniques, French contrast method, and oscillatories and potentiation clusters, all this stuff, super advanced methods, and they're for the right athlete. But most people, and they're going to get, you can take a new athlete, you can have them go ride a bike for 20 minutes a day, and their squat will go up, because any sort of training is going to make them better, because they've had none before. But what's going to happen is you're going to desensitize these athletes to these more advanced methods. So instead, master the basics. You're going to be bulletproof for it. You're going to get strong. You're going to get robust and not durable, anti-fragile, right? So you're not going to be hurt. You're going to get amazing results. And then when you're ready and you're getting to that intermediate or more of an advanced level, then you implement those advanced methods, and now they're going to have a giant effect. It's like starting all over again, right? But definitely the basics.
Yeah. I'd say I've noticed that too, with just like a lot of like the on-field training we do, is that there's not an appreciation in the basics. Like you were saying, everyone wants to do extremely flashy stuff and all that, but there's nothing.
It is. Yeah. Sometimes the basics are boring, but it's gonna get you where you need to go.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then the final question I believe we have is, do you have any advice for young athletes in general?
Yeah, do what you love. Like, for young athletes, like youth athletes, I tell this to parents all the time: don't specialize your kids too young, right? The way I explain it, right? We want to expand their athletic bandwidth. We want to be able to give their brain as much information as they can possibly have. So if you see it a lot with golf, soccer, hockey, tennis, sports like that, but even football is one of them too, where you're doing the same biomechanics, the same energy systems, the same movements, and it's going to really limit your athlete. So physically, you're limiting their potential and their ability, because they're not able to access new information, and you want that. That way, instead of having two options in a game situation, kid has 3, 4, 5 options, a whole array of options. But the other thing is kids that young, when you got them playing, hockey and only hockey, or soccer and only soccer, a lot of times those kids get burnt out and they hate it, right?
Right.
There should be passion. And team sports are huge for kids, right? They learn how to handle disappointment, loss, and then at the same time, responsibility, commitment, all that sort of stuff, a ton of life lessons and how to work as a team and stuff like that. But the other thing, they should love it. They should be excited. They should have a passion for it, because if they're not passionate about it, they're never going to go anywhere. So that's going to limit them too. Let them try as many things as they can, and they'll grow into their position. You can't take a kid that's 12, 13 years old, or even younger, that hasn't really hit puberty yet, and tell them, okay, this is his sport. Because what if that kid hits, a 6-8 inch growth spurt and puts on 80 pounds? The kid's definitely not going to be a soccer player, right? But definitely go do as many things as you can. Find what you love and do it. That's what I did. Opening my gym and doing what I do. I love going to work every day. I get to go be with my athletes and get them right, and I have a ball doing it. It's a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's definitely great advice. For sure. Because I feel like I've been doing the same thing, like with QB Velocity. Like I've been doing what I love, and again, like what you just said, it's fun to go to work. That's how I feel. Right. It is for us,
Absolutely.